Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to welcome all you guys today to take part in our launch for the Somaliland Professional Association, SLPA. Today, I know it's a Saturday. A lot of you guys probably had other plans. We definitely appreciate the dedication, taking the time out to join us here today. So today's main focus is going to be our launch, and so far, just go into a few things of what we've done so far, what we plan to do, and how you guys can join us or help us in this regard. So really appreciate your attendance, and without further ado, I'll pass it to Rahma to go into the agenda and some housekeeping rules.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Isaac. Hi, everyone. My name is Rahma, and I will be starting off today's session giving you a high-level overview of the agenda items and what we will be talking about. So we'll have a few housekeeping rules to make sure that we are conducting this meeting in a streamlined way and in an efficient manner. We'll also cover SLPA introductions of committee members. We'll talk about what is SLPA, as well as the objective, mission, and vision, and as well as why now, why SLPA, why did we decide to start this very moment. We'll also briefly touch on a few things that we've accomplished to date, as well as introduce ideas for future and introduce the various ways that members outside of the community.
Hey guys. Sorry to interrupt you, Rahma. Are you is everybody else on mute?
Yes.
Okay. I think a member, Samira, had mentioned that she can't hear you too well.
Oh, so okay. I think Isaac and Yassine, can you mute yourselves? So
yeah, I'll mute myself now. I'll mute myself now. Hold on.
Mute all. Okay. So I think there is less background noise right now. So thank you so much, Samira, for bringing that up to our attention. So I'll continue with the agenda items. We'll talk about future projects as well as ways that members can get involved and help launch SLPA. We'll also have an opportunity to ask questions and answers, and then also closing remarks. Next slide, please. So a few housekeeping rules. As I mentioned earlier, all participants are muted upon entry, except the admin, of course, myself, as well as Yassine and Isaac, who are fellow committee members. We do encourage all members to use the audio and video function when it's time to ask questions. So right now, please just don't, if you're not comfortable launching your camera, you don't have to, but however, later on, if you are asking a question, we do encourage that you use the audio function as well as the video function. Please use raise hand feature in Zoom to get in line to ask questions. When you do ask a question, please introduce yourself with your name, location, as well as the occupation or field of study. As I mentioned earlier, use the chat feature to interact with us and speak to us and interact with fellow attendees on today's call. Keep your questions short and concise for the sake of time and just staying on topic. And just to level set, today's call will take about 1 hour. Next slide, please. So introductions. I'll quickly go over and introduce to you the hardworking members that are working behind the scene to make today's call happen, as well as SLPA as an organization. Faiza Ali, she is based in the DC area. She is a public health professional. Faiza is actually currently out right now and not on the call with us today because she is in Uganda conducting important public health work as part of her job at the Global Women's Health and at the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecologists, sorry. And Faiza is also, or was a panelist at the 2016 Somaliland Conference. We also have Isaac. Isaac is based out in the New Jersey, Philadelphia area. He is an economics and finance major. Isaac currently works at Morgan Stanley as a fixed income associate. Isaac was was part of the Somaliland Conference Youth conference that happened in 2012 and 2016 as an organizer. He also interned in Somaliland with the Ministry of Finance in 2012 and 2013. Another very important member that we have who is not able to join us today is Idil Yusuf. Idil is from the San Francisco Bay Area. She is also a public health professional that works at Stanford Healthcare on training services. She is the organizer of the organization called organization called Somaliland Society. She's the chairwoman in that organization, and she's actually currently out on a retreat with amazing Somaliland ladies from the California region on a retreat to get to know each other and discuss all things Somaliland. We have Yasin Abdi, who is also with us today on the call. He is a political science major based out in DC. He currently works as an account manager for Cogent Communication, and he is an active Somaliland community leader in the DMV area. And last but not least, you have myself. My name is Rahma Osman. I am based in Seattle, Washington. I am a health informatics, health IT professional, currently working for Booz Allen in health IT consultancy for the United States government. I am a founder of the Somali Expat Forum that is based out in Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. And from here, I'll pass it on to Isaac, who will cover the rest of today's agenda and topics. Isaac, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, thanks, Rahma. Really appreciate that. Thanks a lot for the intros and the agenda. So a lot of you guys are probably asking today, what is SLPA? SLPA is short for the Somaliland Professionals Association. Right now, we're just US based, but eventually we want to expand and, maybe include our members in Canada and abroad. But right now, we're primarily focused on the US. So we plan for it to be a space for Somaliland Americans to collaborate and exchange ideas. We plan for this organization to be an organization that has a long-lasting positive effect for future generations. So we also plan for it to be a network for different organizations that plan to bring crucial issues facing our community to the forefront. As you guys know, we have many different Somaliland organizations here in the US, but a lot of them aren't really focused in one specific area. With SLPA, we plan to focus specifically on the Somaliland professionals and the youth, whether they be in college or recent graduates, and trying to connect synergies or create synergies between our vast community. So SLPA will link also Somaliland American professionals with Somaliland-based professionals. We believe that knowledge and experience is much needed on both fronts. The Somaliland-based professionals may have a lot of knowledge they can share with us as well. We can also exchange ideas and knowledge with them. So let's say, you have the IT professionals such as Rahma, or a, account manager such as Yasin. We're able to try to connect them, the two professionals between here in the US and also back home to build that connection and exchange of knowledge and ideas. SLPA will also leverage technology and social media to bring together forward-thinking Somaliland Americans. You guys are all a testimony to that today. Technology has made it a lot easier for us to connect. We're all here together, but we're not actually here together. And that goes to show you that the opportunities are endless for us to collaborate, although we may be across many different regions or many different states, and be able to do positive things for Somaliland, the Somaliland community here in the US, ultimately the Somaliland community back home. Yasin, thanks. Next we have is objectives, mission, and vision. So as many of you guys probably already seen on our website, we put that together, kind of covering. It took us a while to bring the ideas together because we didn't want to be your typical Somali organization that is too wide in scope, right? We wanted to be very niche. We wanted to focus in on specific areas that we know we can easily target. So our plan is to work closely with the Somaliland Mission in DC to bring together the Somaliland American community. We used to work prior with Rashid Gadov, who was the ambassador for the last 8 years under the Sirania era. And now with the newly appointed ambassador in DC by the name of Bashir Gath, So both of them have been very helpful and very supportive, and they always echo the need to bring together the youth, and primarily not only the youth but the young professionals, because we're able to play both sides of the field. You know, if you think about it, a lot of us are probably first generation, maybe 99% of us. So our parents were, you know, constantly struggling to adapt and to kind of, you know, figure out a way for us to be connected. Um, for Okay, actually, we have new members who just joined, so we'd like to welcome all of those new members who just joined. Thank you. So pretty much what we want to do is, like I was saying, our previous generation, since a lot of us are first generation, you know, Somali Americans, we have the tools and the knowledge and the experience necessary to play both sides of the fence, right? So we're able to, you know, use what we learned here from our communities, from our classrooms, from our workplaces, even from some of our friends in different organizations that we're involved in, to use that in a positive light, to, you know, connect with back home and, you know, build synergies that way. Whereas our parents or the generation before us, they were, you know, more focused on looking at things from a one-dimensional aspect. So I think we bring that multifaceted, that multidimensional view of things, of how things could be done better. So we also want to host annual or semi-annual events to stimulate and foster breakthrough ideas. As I mentioned before, building these synergies are important. So if we bring the community together, very, you know, few, even a few, today, for example, we have 22 members, 22 participants from, I'm sure, a wide array of backgrounds, building those synergies amongst them, and, you know, kind of having a space to exchange those ideas, to work together, to collaborate, to you know, to really push forward the SLPA cause, and also to help ultimately help out our homeland of Somaliland. So we also want to initiate and support self-sustaining projects in Somaliland, and we'll discuss that further on in the slides of some of the things we have planned for SLPA members and SLPA as an organization in the coming year. We also want to promote Somaliland's long history and its right to self-determination. So this is something that, you know, the committee and I kind of went back and forth on for a while, but we realized that, you know, like I said, we don't want to be too wide of a scope of an organization. I want to hone in on some key points or some key topics, and one of them I would say is advocacy. So one thing that brought us all together here today, we all believe in Somaliland's right to self-determination. We believe that it's a cause. Somaliland has, you know, has its own right to be an independent country, and that doesn't limit us to just the Somali community. We may have friends in the Somali community who also support this cause, and we welcome them. We also may have friends of Somaliland, you know, co-workers or colleagues or classmates or community members who, you know, over the time, they may have been our neighbors, they may have been long time friends of ours, and they always hear about, you know, Somaliland from us. And we also want to welcome them to this organization as well. As you know, Somaliland has a long history, and we definitely want to incorporate that into this organization to kind of push for that. If we talk about, you know, early history, large scale rock paintings, for example, that's 3000 BC. And it's not even part of the UNESCO World Heritage sites, which is something that, you know, maybe we can push for. Also, you know, you talk about from an Islamic standpoint, the Ottoman Empire, which is, you know, very, very early history, had a significant influence in Somaliland. Later on, followed by the, you know, British colonial era, followed by our time when we, you know, fought to regain our independence from Somalia, the struggle between 1981 up until 91. So we have a long history, and I think that an organization such as ours can utilize that and leverage ourselves to really push on that advocacy front. And that goes to say also to display the distinct cultural heritage of Somaliland, talking about those rock paintings and a lot of other history that we may have that we can share with the U.S. Somaliland U.S. community. Okay, so now I'll be passing it off to Yes.
Hi, Estelle, thank you for talking about SLPA vision and what we have accomplished. Rahma, thank you very much for the introduction. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Yasin Baile Rahba. And over here, I will talk about why now, why we decided to initiate SLPA. One problem that we have within our community, and it's not a problem that is exclusive to us, but this is a problem that all other community have. And we have a lack of cohesive action amongst the Somaliland community. And this has been we've seen this in a lot of our communities. Example, for in DC, we have two different communities that don't work with each other, and I'm pretty sure there's so many different communities in some within America that don't work together, and we're trying to bridge that gap, and we want all of our communities members to work together and act as one body. Another thing that we have also is the lack of communication amongst the Somaliland Americans. As you can see from this committee members, we have a big geographical difference in where we live and where we reside. And we're trying to also bridge that gap by overcoming those long distances and having conferences and in such a venues like this today, where everyone could come together and speak about their ideas on how we can help Somaliland in the future. And this is a very important point, the lack of committed intellectual to advance Somaliland vision. And this happened in a lot of countries. A lot of people get discouraged when they see what's happening in Somaliland and the state of our politics and societal values. We trying to re-energize our intellectuals to come back to the arena and to be engaged, because to be honest with you guys, the only people that could help advance the society is the intellectuals. And we're trying to reverse the brain drain that's been happening with Somaliland. I know a lot of us, live here, and I could say that, I'm not going to say the brightest live outside of Somaliland, but a lot of people that are well educated live outside of Somaliland, and they're not really connected to the motherland. So we're trying to bring those brightest minds and bring them back into the conversations and bring their ideas so we could have a progress and we could help our country. And another point that we had is that we've all encountered is we don't have a dynamic and organic organization that could stimulate idea. Soomaalidu waxay ku mahmahan waxaa la yidhaha Soomaalidu maskaxda kama fakaraan indhahay ka fakaraan marka Soomaalidu isku dayda marka Soomaalidu usually they copy each other, and that's one thing that we've noticed with a lot of the organization. When someone will open an organization today, and then his cousin by his brother by his friend will open the same organization doing the same thing. And we could see this, okay, I'll take to the micro level. We could see this in our Somali malls. We have a Somali mall and we have 58 billion that's selling dira instead of diversifying their market. So we're trying to be a different type of organization that is completely organic and that is driven and pushed by its members. We're trying to start a dialogue here. We want everybody to be everyone to be active, to bring their ideas. And this is the last, and this is an important point. We need the lack of organization that fosters mentorship. Mashallah, a lot of us are college graduate here. A lot of us are successful. We need to pass on that knowledge to the youth, the kids that are still going through school. What we could do is, we could have a job post. We could, help our students get the best jobs, or we could, if there is a job opening somewhere, we could, tell them how to get that job, or we could even give them a mentorship. We could tell them, hey, for example, we have Rahma, a very successful individual in the committee. That works in public health. Rahma could mentorship someone that wants to go into public health. We have Issa, which is a very successful individual in his own right. He works for Morgan Stanley as an associate. If anyone wants to go to finance, Issa can help out. I myself can help out too. So we need that mentorship. We need to have different segments within our demographic where we can help out and give back to the community. Okay, and we'll move on. We'll go back to Rahma now.
Thank you so much, Yasin. Just clarification, I'm not a public health professional. I am a health IT professional. Big difference. So just to go back to our achievements so far as a Somaliland professional association. So from the time that we formed, obviously we've gotten we've searched far and out to get together a few committed committee members to help us lead SLPA's initiatives. As I've introduced them earlier, myself included, Yassine, Isaac, Faiza, who's out in Africa currently, and Idil, who is on a Somaliland women's retreat out in California. And we're all based at different demographics within the US. Some of us are in the West Coast, some of us are in the East Coast. We've also developed a membership database where we have the contact information of our members, their email and phone numbers, and their location. And that's probably how you received and heard about SLPA's launch call. So we're using that database to stay in touch with our members, to push out important communications and anything that we want to communicate to them about upcoming events, and even eventually use it later on to further expand our agenda and goals. We also created a website where you can go and get the latest information about Somaliland Professionals Association. It's myslpa.org, and I encourage every single member on the call today to go out and explore the website and click around, and maybe you're able to provide us input on how we can further improve, or maybe there is a section that you would like to see in the website that's currently missing, and we can work with you on developing our website further. We've also created our logo. If you notice, it was actually, we've introduced it in our first slide, and you will see it, you'll get the chance to see it again before the end of the call. But one important thing I wanted to focus and elaborate on is that this logo was actually created in collaboration with a young Somaliland graphic designer that is based in Somaliland, not in the US. So we've reached out to our creative talent back home, and we worked with them in developing a logo that is representative of our Somaliland culture and heritage, as well as our American Somalilander identity. We've also created various social media handles for different people to communicate and interact with us. We are now live on Facebook. We have a fan page. Feel free to search us. We're also on LinkedIn for those of us who spend most of our time on LinkedIn for professional reasons. We're also on Twitter and Instagram, and you might have seen or interacted with our posts in the last few weeks. We've also spent some time meeting with the Somaliland ambassador based in DC to discuss our plans and visions, and we've received his blessings to launch and also to introduce this organization and have this launch call. And we had plans to actually have him on the call with us today, but unfortunately he's traveling and unable to join us, but he does send his warm regards to all of our members and everyone who made it on the call. Next slide, thank you. We've also participated and spoke at an event in DC where the ambassador attended. And the purpose of us participating in that event was to further, get our goals and visions out to the community, and so people can know about us and our existence. We've also spoke and participated at an event in DC where the Somaliland Foreign Minister was there. We've introduced SLPA to him, and we've talked about the various ways this organization can help in the progression of our Somaliland cause and recognition. We've also established links with organizations that exist back home in Somaliland, such Shaqadon and Hargeisa Hub and Sonia. And we've talked about ideas and different ways that we could get the Somaliland diaspora professionals involved and partner up on various initiatives and projects as we grow and continue to expand. We've also established links with the Canadian Somaliland Affairs Committee. They are an organization, a grassroots organization based in Canada, Toronto, that works very closely with Somaliland community in Canada to advance Somaliland initiatives and causes in Canada. So we've reached out to them to learn some of their lessons learned and how we can further, grow our organization and develop from here on out. And I think that is all. I am going to pass the mic to Saf, or Saf, I believe. Future projects.
Okay, thank you so much, Rahma. I really appreciate you going into the details of what we've accomplished so far. All of us, very busy. We're each involved in our own, endeavors as well as, our own careers. But we definitely come together to make time to push the SLPA initiative forward. So thank you for covering all of the things we've accomplished so far in the short amount of time. So future projects, you guys are probably thinking, okay, great. We heard what you guys are going to do. We heard what you guys achieved so far, but what are some things you have in the pipeline? What do you have planned 2019, 2020? One thing I stressed to the committee early on when we started this initiative, so I didn't want to be the typical Somali organization that lasts for 1 year, 2 years, and then kind of just dies out. So we wanted to have some longevity here, and we thought the best way to do that was to be very structured and organized and try to create projects or continuous events every other quarter or maybe twice a year, and maybe some events in the meantime. So we definitely have things planned coming up. So for example, Somaliland Conference, we definitely want to have a Somaliland Conference. We had the one back in 2012. That was our first one. That was in the DC area. And actually that one was really successful. We had, I think, people come from not only the US, but we had a big community from Canada come. We also had a big community. Okay, great. Yeah, so we had a big community from Canada come. We had a big community from Europe come. I believe we even got some people that year from the Middle East and even China. I think we got about 2 people came from China. So we want to have something to the similar scale that we did have in 2012. The 2016 conference, a lot of you guys probably remember, wasn't as big. There was a lot of, rift between political parties back home and a lot of divisiveness in the country at the time, especially around the election. So it wasn't as big, but our goal is to be bipartisan. That's going to be the most important things for us, to be bipartisan. So, Yassine, if you could go back one slide. Sorry about that. All right, thanks. So yeah, our most important thing is we want to be a bipartisan organization. So including everybody from all backgrounds, from all political support, even though we're not going to be a political organization. So the conference we have planned is either going to be 2019 before the end of the year, or at the latest 2020. Idil, which is our committee member, she hosted the 2016 or 2017 celebration in the Bay Area, and she was considering us having a conference June 26th of this year. So we're not sure if that's feasible just yet. We're working on the logistics, and if we do get further updates on that, we'll keep you posted as always. The next slide next point we have is going to be the coffee meetups. And I think it's very important for our Somaliland community to get to know each other. For example, we have some data analysis that we put together amongst all our different members, and we've seen that there's concentrations of Somaliland communities in different pockets, whether that be Minnesota, whether that be Columbus, Ohio, California, the DC area as well. And a lot of these people, you reach out to them, and a few members, for example, I'll use Abdul Latif as an example. I said, hey, Abdul Latif, man, we're looking to get more members in Minneapolis. Could you help us out? And, it was very difficult because he said the community is very spread apart. There's not much unity, and it's hard for them to get together. So I think an organization like SLPA can kind of build those synergies and those connections in respective cities such as Minneapolis, which we may have a big community. So the coffee meetups is something we have planned definitely in the next 3 to 6 months. And we'll be having them in the locations where we have strong concentration of members. So we definitely want to focus on Minneapolis. We definitely want to focus on Columbus, Ohio. And we definitely want to focus on the DC and Seattle areas. So next we have networking connections between our SLPA professionals, in similar industries or looking to switch industries. So, this is, I think, very important because every group of first generation immigrants in the U.S., if we look at the Indian American community, if we look at the Spanish American community, if you even look at the Arab American community, they are very well connected, especially in the space of careers and career progression and paths of that nature. So, and how do they do that? They do that by coming together, by helping each other out, by letting each other know about different opportunities. So, we want this to be a space where let's say I work in finance now, but I'm tired of finance. I want to get into development. I want something more. They talk about the thing instant gratification versus delayed gratification. So anyway, I want to do something more development oriented. I want to have a space where I can come to people who are like myself, not only Somali but Somalilanders that are Muslim. We speak the same language, have the same culture, same religion, and I can say, hey, I don't really know you, but I know that we're both part of SLPA, and I'm really interested in the industry you're working in. So tell me a little bit more about it. How can I break in? Tell me the pros and cons, and you guys can kind of build a relationship that way. So networking is very important, especially if we want to, have a long-lasting career. If we want career advice, mentorship, and the likes. So that's a very important aspect that we want to hone in on. The next one we have is mentorship. So as Yassine mentioned, and as Rahman mentioned, our Somaliland community of youth are growing up now, right? A lot of them are in college, a lot of them are in high school, some of them, our siblings may be in middle school. So we want to be positive examples in the community. And we want to reinforce them and have a space where they can see like, hey, that's my big brother, or that's my cousin, or that's the guy I grew up with, from my hometown in Columbus, and, have a positive influence that they can kind of look up to, and we can mentor them along the way. So let's say, you have some kids in college who are studying engineering, for example, and they're really interested in expanding their, connections or having even an internship opportunity. We all know how important it is to get internships before graduation in order to land those, good full-time offers. So we can connect those young college students or those high school students who are, looking to break into certain industries or get into certain colleges or apply for certain scholarships. We want this to be the space for that. Next, we want to organize events and opportunities for SLPA members visiting Somaliland during their summer vacations. We all know, all of us, probably 90% of us have been back home, and there's a reoccurring theme of how things are done back home. You go there for summer vacation. Some of you guys might go solo. You might go with your parents. You might go with your siblings, your family. What do? You hang out at summertime. You hang out at, used to be Crown, right? Crown, and these different locations where all the diaspora come together. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but sometimes it's counterproductive and counterintuitive in the sense that you came there to, obviously see family, enjoy summer vacation, but you also want to learn more about the culture. You want to learn about, how you can give back, because you may have some experiences or some knowledge that you give back home, but you may just not know how. So SLP is going to be that space or that central location where you can email us, where, we can email you guys updates, and we can organize events. Let's say it could be a week event where, people could come together and you can see different parts of the country, the historical aspect, take you to La Scale, you can take a trip to Berbera. Let's say you want to give back in health, we can connect you with folks at the Hargeisa Group Hospital. Like myself, I went back 2012, 2013, and I was a finance economics undergrad at the time, and I interned for the Ministry of Finance. So we can organize by utilizing our connections for you to make your trip productive, to make it worthwhile. So that's a very important aspect that we want to hone in on and work towards. So if any of you guys are going this summer, great, let us know, and we can definitely accommodate a few things for you guys to do while you're there. Yassine?
Mike is over to you, Yassine.
Oh, so it's for Isaac. Okay. Future project. All right. So thank you, Isaac, for the detailed explanation. So as far as our future project, we want to start an advocacy campaign to help for Somaliland to be recognized. And I feel like, Somaliland has declared its independence 28 years ago. And 28 years later, that's a whole generation. Nothing has changed. We still are at the same spot. So we definitely need to change that. We need to, all of us as members, all of us as Somalilanders, we need to contact our Congress representative in the United States just to push to push the idea of Somaliland. You know, we all need to be advocates of Somaliland wherever we are. And we all are ambassador in certain extent. So whatever you are, if you are at work, at school, at a party, I urge you guys to talk about Somaliland. Tell your neighbors about Somaliland, what Somaliland represent. Uh, and the main important thing is, besides telling your friends and families, we need to pressure the U.S. government. You know, we need to write our congressmen, you know, our congressmen and women letters about Somaliland. You know, and tell them about the good things that are happening in Somaliland. You know, and I feel that's an important thing to advance the issue of Somaliland, and that's one of the easiest way, because all we have to do is just go online and download a template and just send an email to your congressman or woman. Another thing we try to do. Another thing that we try and do, we try and launch an annual scholarship to fund and help support the kids that are in Somaliland that don't get the attention that they need. Like I recently just came back from Somaliland in 2016, and when you go to Somaliland, you see see so many different organizational schools that are functioning in a capacity, that has no credibility. So you ask yourself, what are our kids learning? Like, who's writing the curriculum? So we live in America, and we all seen how Trump had a fake university. Well, imagine that same concept which exists in Somaliland, you know, and then there's no scrutiny, there's no anyone to critique it. So we're trying to change that. We're trying to establish some sort of scholarship and fund for those kids to have a better future, either to come to the U.S. or go to any other countries in the area. Another thing that we try and do is, and this is something that we should do more often, is to start fundraising events. We don't want to be a charity event, for we believe in self-sustainability. We want instead of we trying to teach our members or our community how to fish. We don't want to spoon feed anyone, but in some cases there's overlaps in effort, and some people could fall within the cracks. So, you know, we'll try to host events, charity during Ramadan and something like Ramadan, and also we try and establish relationships. We try and bring together the Somaliland American community leaders around the whole country. You know, that's something what we're trying to work on. Hopefully, something that'll happen within the next 6 months or 4 months. We don't know yet, but once we find out who those leaders are, we'll hopefully bring them together. And one more thing that we need to do is, like, every 3 months or every quarter, we're trying to have a Zoom conference that will lead to our launch either in 2019 or 2020, inshallah. And let's move on to the next event. And this is one of the most this is an important part, the Q&A. So this is some harsh rules. Raise your hand if you have a question. Also, the participant will be selected randomly. Please, one question per selected member. And just to start the Q&A, I want to give you guys some ideas. You know, everything start with a clear and even very simple vision for the future that everyone understands and agrees on. So, yes, we've started SLPA, but SLPA was born out of an idea, and we actually worked toward it. So every idea could become something. Also, we need to understand something. We have to stay adaptable and flexible. Plan, and also we need a mindset of urgency, ownership, responsibility, and service in order to help our country. Also, by working together with an understanding of the strategic environment, we can speed up progress in Somaliland and our community. After all we want is a prosperous, stable, and equitable Somaliland. And we want it soon. I mean, I want it tomorrow. I mean, if I can, I'll move back to Somaliland tomorrow, okay, and drink shahiyo bagiye on the street, you know. So that's what we try and do, and hopefully we could achieve that. And with that, we'll open the floor for anyone that has a question.
So in order to be unmuted, this is Rahma, I'm the admin. I would ask that anyone who's interested in voicing or they have a question that they would like to raise to the community members to please use the raise my hand feature. I currently do not see anyone, but maybe I'll give it a few minutes, or maybe you can type on the chat if you have a question, and we will answer that question as well. So there is a question from Amina Ege. I think to foster a sense of community, maybe everyone should introduce themselves as well, if that is possible. Adam is also agreeing. Maybe I will, well, we have over 25 participants on the call, and to kind of manage the call, it would be hard if we unmute everyone. There'll be a lot of background noise and disturbances. So maybe I'll start with unmuting you, Amina. Maybe you can introduce yourself and voice out a question if you have it. Amina, you're unmuted.
Oh, okay. Hi, assalamu alaikum, everyone. Just glad to be here. I was really actually interested in more of the mentorship aspect that Yassine was talking about, and either wanted more expansion on that, and maybe dates of location, meetups for us in Texas. I'm in Texas and I'm a medical student.
Yassine? Are you on mute? Unmute, okay. A bit of technical issues. Yes, I'm unable to unmute Yassine for whatever reason.
Okay, I just did it. Amina, welcome. I'm glad you're going to school. You're the future. Hopefully another doctor in training. So great. So we're working on that. So we'll put some information on our website and our social media handles, and where you can meet people and how you can connect with them. And
also,
just
go ahead.
Go ahead, Rahma.
Oh no, I was gonna flip that back on you, Amina. You're from Texas. Maybe you'll be one of the members that we reach out to in Texas to organize maybe a coffee meet and greet type thing. And maybe if you're interested in helping us further develop and expand that mentorship project, we you as well. So the committee members, it's 5 of us. We're trying our best to prioritize projects and put ideas forward. However, the fuel of SLPA are the members. So we need every single one of your skills and talents and time to help us further elaborate and grow SLPA.
Okay, inshallah. Okay.
Thank you, Amina, for your question. I'm going to go ahead and mute you now. Next participant, is anyone else interested in speaking? Adam, okay, I will unmute Adam. Over to you, Adam.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hey, you know, I've enjoyed listening to what everybody's been saying, and I'm really glad that, you know, somebody reached out to me to invite me to this group. And so, yeah, my name is Adam. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I'm a junior at the University of Maryland, College Park. I'm studying mechanical engineering, and I'm minoring in sustainability. So that's like I'm trying to get into the renewable energy sector, and I'm going to be working in construction this summer with an internship with Clark Construction. So, I mean, for that in itself, like if anybody was interested in engineering, maybe younger or around my age, like I'm somebody that, you know, I can talk to. And I know we talked a lot about public health and finance and things, but if I could be an engineering guy in the group too. I guess what I want to talk about a little bit is and something that I'm dealing with as a student here, where 2 years ago I co-founded a Somali student association with some other Somali students here. And at the time, like I didn't really know too much about I wasn't too deep into like the political issues with Somalilanders and Somalia people. And now I do see sometimes some more tension, and I'm wondering how you guys deal with that with other Somali friends you guys have who don't always like respect Somaliland the same way And like, for instance, the logo for our organization has like the Somalia flag on it, and I'm trying to push for including the Somaliland flag on it. But like, one of the counter arguments is like, if we include the Somaliland flag, then we'd have to include Puntland and Djibouti. And so I don't know if there's anything you guys ever deal with trying to do that.
Thank you so much, Adam, for the very precise question. I actually am gonna ask one of the attendees if they have an idea, or maybe they want to offer up some advice and suggestions to Adam. If anyone is interested in responding to Adam, please let me know on the chat and I will unmute you. Otherwise, I honestly do want to give the opportunity to other committee members to go in and chime in and provide feedback and input as part of this call.
Sounds good.
So, anyone?
It doesn't have to be like a precise answer. Just like, I guess, if anybody has any opinions on how they talk about Somaliland to people from Somalia and some of the, and you know, navigating that.
So no one is responding. However, I do see a very big Somaliland advocate on the Twitter world on here in the chat. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick on you, and then I am going to unmute you, and you will offer up some advice to Adam. You're unmuted, Hanan. Technical difficulty. Okay, Hanan, can you hear us? Oh. All right, so I'm having a bit of technical difficulties. Is anyone else able to chime in and give Adam some good advice and input on his very important question? If not, I will pick on someone else randomly. Okay. Faiza? Faiza, you're off mute right now. Okay. Bit of technical difficulty. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work out, don't worry. We can always move on too.
Yeah, I did get a message from Hanan. She's ready to answer your question, so maybe I will flip it back to Hanan again. If not, let's see. If not, let's see. Yassine, do you want to offer up something? I'll unmute you. Okay, so something is going on, a bit of technical difficulties, Adam. We will take that question on board and connect you with someone as part of, you know,
it's an ongoing thing. It doesn't have to be like now.
Definitely, it's an ongoing thing, but we'll connect you with someone who, one of our members who, like, as I mentioned, is very they're a voice for Somaliland in any of their circles that they attend, and maybe you could, you know, get hints and tips from them on how to do that. Yeah.
Also, Adam, I'll contact you offline. You know, I'll talk to you offline to give you some ideas. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So, anyone else? Anyone else have a question? Oh, Abbas and me, the question was, Adam had a question earlier about as part of his Student Somali Association, he wants to bring Somaliland into that and be inclusive of all the, you know, Somaliland voice in general Somali circles. Okay, so I have a volunteer who wants to go next, Nagad. I will unmute you. Floor is yours, Nagad.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Nagad. Today I am from Houston, Texas. I am an 8th grade math teacher, so I'm part of the Teach for a Miracle Corps right now, and I graduated from Texas A&M. the reason why I joined this organization, to be honest, I've never really had any contact with Somali people here in Houston. The community is very small, and I always wanted to see how I can be a part of this. So for me specifically, because I'm always involved with children, and that's basically what I do for life. I wanted to see how I can possibly empower the youth of, the Somali children. I wanted to see, what possible ideas you guys were thinking about or how I can get involved. That is all. Hello. Okay. But yes, if there's no suggestions, if anything, I can come up with some good ideas. I also would like to be like an active member of the committee or do something where I can possibly send out like summer camp opportunities or really anything to help them prepare themselves for their college career. And if there's anyone else in Texas, please let me know because I would love to get in contact with y'all as well.
Hey, assalamu alaikum, Nagad, really appreciate it. I think Rahma might have got on mute or may have faced some technical difficulties. Yeah, that's a great idea. We'll definitely try to organize that coffee meetup in Texas. I think when I checked the numbers, we may have like 9 members based in Texas. But Texas is a big state, so we'll try to figure out a central location for all you guys to meet, and that will be good. In regards to teaching, I think that the mentorship aspect or college application process is very important, and any members we have in that regard will definitely connect you with. And if you do go back home, I think there's a plethora of opportunities in the teaching space that we can possibly make a connection with. I'm not sure if you've been back or you plan on going back, but that's something we can do as well. Also, to touch on Adam's question, Adam, welcome. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Adam's father. He was here with the foreign minister. His father's actually the presidential economic advisor. So welcome, Adam. Great to have you here. So yeah, regarding the Somaliland community or the Somali community and how to navigate that, it's tough. And I think we see that on social media quite often, especially around May 18th. So I would say, in my humble opinion, the best way to go about it is maybe have a one-on-one conversation with the chair of the organization and kind of reach a mutual understanding of why Somaliland has its right to self-determination. And the long history behind it. I mean, Somaliland was its own country prior to the Union. So a lot of them may not know the historical aspect of it, but it is important. So they may come back and say, hey, if we open up the door for Somaliland, that might turn away many of our current members, or it may open up the door for other members to ask for, Puntland, which isn't even the same case scenario, right? Same political scenario, or Djibouti, which is actually solid or valid. So what I would say, Adam, is if we can try to navigate it and tell them, hey, let's include Djibouti, let's include Somaliland, and let's include Somalia. And those three together can be, the Somali student organization. You can also play on it by saying, hey, this is not the Somalia Student Association. This is the Somali Student Association. So you can kind of play on the words there because we're all Somalis. And Arabs are all Arabs, but they have many different countries. The Gulf is made up of, I think, 5 or 6 states, but they come together as what? The GCC, the Gulf Countries Corporation. You have many other international organizations or international alliances that are similar. So it doesn't hurt to say, hey, there's power in numbers. We can work together. We can create a united Somali organization, which includes all of the different states that make up the Somali people, Djibouti, Somaliland, and also Somalia. So I'll send you further. I'm sure your dad can give it to you as well. He's very well versed on Somaliland history, but I can send you some articles that kind of discuss that if you want to, discuss with them in an intellectual way and say, hey, this is the history. These are the facts, and I think that this is a valid case. So I'm sure you know how to navigate that diplomatically. So if you have any questions, let us know for sure. I think he's on mute, Rahma. Could you take Adam off mute for a second? Okay. Yeah, Adam, you're all good.
Yeah, I was just nothing much. I'm just saying thanks for the input. Those are really valid points, and I definitely am trying to emphasize the fact that we are the same ethnicity, but we have different states. So,
Right.
just saying one represents everything is not valid for the entire group. So that's the point I'll try to emphasize, and we'll talk more, and I'll read those articles you can send my way.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Adam. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Go Big Ten. I know you're University of Maryland, so Rutgers and University of Maryland joined the same year, even though we're both garbage at football. Yeah, I think you're on mute. No problem. So we answered Nagad. We answered Adam. I think.
Sahra, who has her hand raised, and I want to give the opportunity to give to Sahra.
Sahra, okay, go for it, Sahra.
Sahra, I will unmute you.
Assalamu alaikum.
There you go.
Waalaikum salam.
Ma la arkaa?
Si fiican.
Aad baan idin salaamaya. Waxaan deganahay Maryland, and I'm happy to be a part. I'm familiar with Isaac, and I'm also familiar with Faiza on the group. So, barasho wanaagsan waxaan idinka caawin karanaa soo sheega insha Allah.
Inshallah, great.
Thank you, Walal. Thank you so much.
Adiga mudan.
And I will go ahead and unmute you. I'll give the control back to Yassine to kind of wrap up this Q&A session. For the interest of time, we are a few minutes over the top of the hour. So Yassine, back over to you.
So basically, to summarize this Q&A, we've had some good questions. Adam will send you the information for you to get what you need is knowledge, and we'll make sure you have the knowledge to defend yourself next time, inshallah. You know what I mean? To counter their argument. I know you live in Houston. Again, I know you live in Houston. I have family in Houston, so we have a lot of people in Houston, a very big Somalilanders, prominent families. I'll see if I can connect you with them, inshallah. And, hopefully we'll get the ball rolling and, you get back to the community, The reason why we have this Q&A, we try and get some information and some feedback from the members, see how we could use those inputs to advance and to progress the mission of SLPA, Somaliland Professional Association. And Somaliland Professional Association is nothing without its members, And there's a point that we're trying to emphasize. This is, yes, we have a committee, but the committee are nothing more than enablers. The real heroes here are the members, and without you guys, we're nothing. And just remember that. And I want all of you guys to be engaged in any aspect that you can. And if you could write a letter, even if you can send a voice note to someone, I mean, that's doing something beneficial.
Yeah, and
okay?
we can be the space to facilitate that. So even if you guys have any ideas that we may not have touched on, more than welcome. Send us an email. We'll incorporate it. We want this to be a space for people to come together, build synergies, and kind of move the mission forward, and also move our country forward, and move ourselves as Somali Americans forward as well. So without further ado, Yassine.
Okay, so with that, we'll go to our closing remarks. And Isaac, do you want to summarize everything, please?
I think that was Rahma, but no problem. Okay.
So, actually, Rahma, let's Rahma do it. Rahma, go ahead.
No, I'll just go ahead and mention the follow-up. So today's call, as we mentioned earlier, is just a launch. It's a 1-hour discussion. Obviously, there's a lot more conversations to have outside of today's call. So thank you for attending. Thank you for participating in the chat, as well as video participation. But as we uncovered, this needs to happen on an ongoing basis. And we need to stay in touch. There's a lot of background noise. I'm gonna mute Yassine and Isaac as well. So look out for post-survey email link to send us further questions, concerns, or any feedback that you might have from this session. As we said, we're looking for ideas. We're looking to find different ways to work with our members to further develop and expand SLPA and the project that we'll be working on in the near term and the long-term future as well. I will give the mic back to Isaac to give the concluding words.
All right, great. Thanks a lot, Rahma, Yassine, team. So really appreciate you guys all coming out today. It means a lot. As Yassine touched on, we are nothing without our members. So we know that it landed the weekend. Some of the members couldn't join, but definitely we have a solid number that came on today. And as we always stress, it's always quality over quantity. So we really appreciate you guys coming out. Inshallah, in the near future, I'm thinking within the next month, we should have some updates for you. And, you know, the summer's around the corner. So I'm sure maybe a small percentage of you may be going back home for the summer, so we want to organize and facilitate things for you as well. So feel free to reach out. You know, meaning in Somali, you guys can only you know, do things when you guys work in hands. You know, bring your hands together. Inshallah, and we'll keep in touch. And we really appreciate you guys coming out. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you, and I will I will end the meeting. Thank you everyone for joining and attending. And
hey, Rahma, also if you can make sure the conversation was recorded before we hang up. I don't know if we're gonna lose that.
It was recorded.
Okay, perfect. We'll be sharing that.
We will be sharing the link to the audio so you can listen to the discussion. So thank you everyone, and you will hear from us shortly with a link where you can provide your inputs on ideas and suggestions that we can further in the future. Thank you, and Assalamu alaikum.